Hari Om. Continue looking in our crown jewel of yoga. And the next part of this mantra, number 3, 4b, 6, 5 and 6a, is Swadhisthana. The second center, situated at the sacrum. The literal meaning of Swadhisthana is one's own abode. This chakra is symbolized by a vermilion lotus with 6 petals. At the center of the lotus is a silvery white crescent moon, representing the water element. Within the moon is the bija mantra Vam, riding on a crocodile, representing the power of the subterranean element. The tan mantra or sensory attribute is the taste, and the janendriyan or relative sensory organ is the tongue. The karmendriyan of organ of the action is the genitals. The vayu is apana, moving towards samana, which is indicated by the orange color, yellow mixed with red. The loka is bhuva, the intermediate region between heaven and earth. The presiding devata is Lord Vishnu, the sustainer of the universe, and the Devi is Rakini, controller of the blood element in the body. The yoga path is Tantra, and the operating force is attraction of opposites. It's quite self-sufficient. The point I want to say is about crocodile here. And the crocodile, it's usually the reptile kind of crocodile. Sometimes could be crocodile, or we know there's a snake is Mooladhara. So these prehistorical ancient animals, and you know the crocodiles, turtles, they are the lizards, and the direct ancestors of the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, the ones that before the mammals flourished on our planet, which we attributed, according to the Darwin theory, ourselves to. Warm-blooded, but the reptiles, they're cold-blooded. And they have a little bit more instinctive even than the mammals type of living. And for example, the birds, they've evolved evolutionary from the reptiles, developed the feathers and stuff like. That's why they have these legs. And they're covered with scales. And reptiles, if you ever encounter one or had like a pet, like a lizard or turtle, they're absolutely, you cannot agree with them about anything. You cannot train them. And they operate in their own kind of world. It's not like a cat who doesn't listen to you. You can still train the cat, go to toilet. She still kind of have a little bit of empathy. She understands things which happening. She understands that she was being punished or not, this kind of stuff. She doesn't understand as much, can tell you, the cat been punished, the dog, but they say, like, understand these kind of things. No, yes. Same like any other mammals. If you ever worked with horses or cows, they're very smart in this sense. And they're very reading the empathy, they're very empathetic, so they know if somebody's sad or fear, or they're very reading these things. Reptiles don't. Or if they do, they will not show you, or they do not reflect it. I think they don't have an empathy at all. And that's what is shown here on these lower chakras. Is one of these ancient prehistorical animals which still coming through this evolution. And sometimes when people kind of leave from these points, from these attributes like don't touch me, I'm not gonna touch, I don't care about anything about anybody else apart from myself. So this is this prehistoric animal, reptile, instinctive living for us. And another thing about these reptiles and lizards, they tell us that within us, evolutionary, everything recorded. So we internally, even on genetic level, and all the biogeneticists, whatever they call the biologists, so they will tell you that we do have stored information of our evolutionary patterns, how we evolved, and energetically or not, no matter we are aware of it or not, it had input on ourselves. So through the yoga practice, you can access to this long-term, millions of years storage recorded in us. Might sounds very weird, but it's true. Swadhisthana chakra is located in coccyx, the tailbone, at the base of the spinal column, a few centimeters above and behind Mooladhara. Physiologically, the center is associated with a urogenital system and the sexual drive. But here the primary motives is pleasure rather than progeny. So if we're looking at these kind of sexual desires, if you a little bit difference between Mooladhara level and this level. So in this level, you're more not just have some kind of tendency, which could be like good or bad, for example, but you're trying to make them with more elaborated sense. So, for example, the very common right now, and it's always been there, but right now it's kind of discussed by many people, and many people trying to reach to this level. It's called hedonism. It's come from ancient Greek, and in ancient Greek people practiced this. It's a lot of very rich people that practiced this. They were trying to indulge themselves with sophisticated tastes of wine, of olive oil, and some particular meat cooked in a particular way. And it's not just in the way of the food, it could be sophisticated environments, so they build beautiful rooms and have particular piece of art that comes from far away, nobody can have it. Or like in ancient Rome or Greek, they were using like head of exotic animal, and people did this through Middle Ages too, in a sexual way as well. It won't be just about for the sake of for the practice itself, but it will be to elaborate it with something intricative, So, and unfortunately, people don't realize. So this is very, very not sustainable way to live your life, from just indulging yourself through hedonism. It's a way of living that leave you to the very sad existence at the end. Although it might seem like it's very nice and sophisticated, and some people are even proud of it, that they can afford something that's very out of reach for average person, but they don't understand energetic and mental and emotional and spiritual implication for not just their life, but the people surrounding them as well. Pleasure, so it's all about the pleasure. And if you see people who, for example, like in the Manipura, we were concerned about quantities, so you will feel there's a fire, it's like a burning fire blaze, high level, next level, and you're worried about, I just want to feel this whole, and people accumulating things or eating too much, this kind of stuff. In Swadhisthana, it's about, for example, this wine coming from particular valley, from particular season. So these things. So it's explaining it's physiologically associated with regional system, but there's a primary motif is pleasure rather than the progeny. From the desire for pleasure arises the need to hold on to the source of that pleasure, which results in attachment. And that's what I say, that you will not understand that it's basically the very, very fast highway to very sad existence of yourself. Because at some point, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much you secure in your future, there will be some changes, or you will always want something more, or you will become just it's like a void. You're going to throw things and money and people there, but it's never going to be enough. And the more you do, the more you feel urge for something new, something more sophisticated. And the moment, hopefully not, but you will have not access to this way of living, it will be very, very dramatic, destructive, physical, spiritual, emotional for yourself or your family. Pleasure also leads to pain, so there is a continuous search for more pleasure and avoidance of pain. At this point in human evolution, the creative energy expressed through the desire for sexual union. The chakra point is associated with sexual power, and when open, tremendous potency is experienced. The trigger point or chakra, kshestram, located in the front of the center of the pubic bone, relates with attraction to the opposite sex and facilitates the giving and receiving of sexual pleasure. This is just kind of briefly explained, but what they're trying to say that, and I found it's exactly similar like any other tendency. So, for example, people who have drinking problem, so they're always drinking and they want more, and it's become worse and worse, so they can't have enough. And they don't, for a moment they feel a little bit happier, but then again they even drop even deeper. It's the same with the sexual attractions or attraction to particular videos for this, in this sense. People are more and more complicated and more sophisticated, and they never enough, and it's distracting them on an internal level. So the only way to stop this is to get out of there. It's not like reduce it or do it sometime. It's to switch your awareness to something else and fully let it go, fully stop this activity. Sometimes has to be forced on you because people cannot stop it in terms of like drugs or drinking or something like that, or even sexual tendencies. So we need to isolate the person and clean them. It cleans the body, reverse this energy through the cleaning practices, through asanas, through very intensive pranayama exercises. And some people need to show that the happiness they're seeking there is already within them. And only in the yoga mat you can experience some of these things. You cannot experience this there outside in the world. There's nothing there that can fulfill you as yourself on this mat. And people, many don't understand this. But the people who realize this, who experience this, and many people come from this type of tendencies, strong tendency, they can't let it go. It could be on a heart level, you attach to some person, you cannot imagine yourself without leave of somebody, or this kind of stuff. It could be like parenting very hard, because we cannot imagine ourselves without our child, or we think the life is finished after that. If something happened with our child, children. So it's unhealthy as well, and very destructive for our own union and existence. I'm not saying you shouldn't be worried about your children. No, it's impossible. But it's very tricky, and when people experience this depression, there could be two types of depression: when people realize they don't have their own life because they're giving everything to the children, for example, or they cannot sustain the everyday other life, like they feel guilty because they should give it to the children, the time, the money, or whatever, everything. And then they start having these depressions and destruction of themselves, because they're forgetting that they are themselves. The world around us changes, people changes, environment changes, city burned down, forests cut down, houses demolished and built all over again. It's never-ending circle. Even the planets, they destroy, universes, the solar systems, they collapse, and then start all over again, building the planets, sun, building the planets, and a life appears, and everything starts all over again. So it's never ending, this kind of circle, which tells you, but it's always changing. So when we're in a particular moment somewhere on this time scale, it feels dramatic for us. But if you look on this in the same time, like it existed, everything in the same time, you understand that it's all the same, and it's all coming back. And everybody who ever lived on this planet, they ever experienced the same problems, same dependencies, same troubles, same... If you read sometimes some ancient Greek poetry or just philosophers, it sounds like they've been written it last month about ourselves. So don't discard yourself in this, be warmly detached. So you fully live in this moment right now in this life. You're giving everything. You fully, unconditionally love your family and everything around you. In the same time, you are warmly detached. Yeah? So you keep remaining in the back of your mind that you are something that beyond this, and it's all just coming and going. People in our life coming and going. The circumstances coming and going. Today you are a leader of the, factory. You have 5 cars, and you have villas, and you travel in the world. Tomorrow you're sitting in a rope which been worn out in the forest, and you have no friends left, and that's okay. Oh, upside down. Could be like that. So let's look to the next. At the deeper level, Swadhisthana is the seat of the unconscious mind, which is the storehouse of all karmas and samskaras, experience and impressions. And that's why in Tantra Yoga we don't discard those levels, because that's where everything is recorded there actually, and we should get access. But that's why it says it's unconditional mind, and they don't talk about these reptiles. So it's kind of representation of that too. The unconscious is the substratum of individual existence, and it's far more powerful than the conscious. Mooladhara represents the manifest unconscious, where the karmas and instincts are expressed as anger, greed, jealousy, passion, delusion, and so on. And Swadhisthana is the unconscious, is a potential state where the karmas and some karmas remain in their seed form. And remember, karmas and some karmas is those actions or non-actions or reaction that will happen in the past or will happen in the future, or whatever we've been through, all the experiences recorded. And samskara is this as well, kind of like experience, but the ones that affected us. For example, you're a child, you're 1 year old, you not even remember yourself, that you don't remember this happened to you, but you're walking down the street and there was a dog and she barked on you, and the child gets very scared, and that will have an imprint on some kind of emotional or fear or something like that. And then through life, we're going to carry it on, and it's going to come to something you're misunderstanding with your friends or something like that, or you for no reason don't like going to particular streets, you know, so this is samskara, so experience would have some kind of charge. Cations, anions, they have a, you know, charge, positive, negative. Similar, you will have the samskaras. And karma is just whatever happened or not happened through your life, yeah, they're recorded. Swadhisthana is considered to be a difficult center to awaken due to the disturbance and confusion arising from activation of this unconscious material. Yeah. So many people are like, oh, I don't want to go there, I don't want to wake it up. You know? But we have to, it's like you have to press the button so it disappears forever. Otherwise it stays there and affecting you in some way. For that we practice yoga nidra, of course. Every impression and experience is recorded and filed away in some deeper layer of the mind. All of this form the total unconscious and they influence the mind, although they are not consciously perceived. They also form our karmic inheritance and travel with the soul from life to life. And this is why some people tell me, so many, especially like when you communicate with people, the kids, they're like, oh, I've been through teachers, so many kids, and they're all so different. Doesn't matter, they have from same family, same background, same parents, same food they eat, same, you know, education level and stuff, but they're so different people. And where it's come from? People start thinking, as a parent, maybe it's my fault. We have this imprint, karmic recorded things which we carry through life to life, and tendencies, fears or desires, talents, somebody more in drawing, somebody more listening music, memorizing, somebody need to write it down, these kind of things. Yeah? They are changed through life, you can readjust them and balance them out, this kind of stuff. But many things we have tendency which kind of imprint into us. And remember those petals on your lotus of the chakras? This is your storage, your record of your samskaras and karmas. Thus, the seed of birth and of rebirth are contained at Swadhisthana. These formless impressions have great power and block the passage of Kundalini. Even after awakening, the Kundalini is said to return back to Mooladhara again and again, and that's very common happens, and it's like you have this waking up of Kundalini, some experience, you're pushing through some chakras, and then it's coming back to him. Non-attachment and to pleasure is the key which unlocks the gate of Swadhisthana and enables the Kundalini to pass through Manipura. So we do have to essentially let it go, allow to surpass all these attachments, non-attachments, tendencies, desires. And I found the only way to do it on this planet, today especially, with all the social media, everything that tell us how we're supposed to live our lives. Everything tells us what we're supposed to do. You go to supermarket, they tell you what you're supposed to buy and what you're supposed to like. It's hard to get rid of it by yourself. So community, yogic teachers, the guru, and yoga practice. There's no other way. Hare